Tonight, I want to talk on some real issues. Tonight, I want to talk on this platform, and I'm going to talk about 15, maybe 20 minutes, and then I'm going to definitely have y'all come on up. But I've been dealing with some serious issues in the last week, and I've been seeing a lot, hearing a lot, and you know what? This platform is going to have to change. And I'm going to say to Tough Love, you took some of my talking points earlier on your platform this morning, but I got none but love. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been walking these YouTube streets for over a year, and I've been on different people's platforms, hearing different things. And while I can definitely relate to some of the issues that men are having, I can relate to some of the issues women are having, but I've gotten to the point where I hear nothing but echo chambers and no solutions. I got to the point where I'm hearing men who are holding women to a standard. But when it's time to hold certain types of men to a standard, I am watching men quiet like Catholic church mouses. And I thought about when I was on El Guapo's channel yesterday. El Guapo went totally off. And I mean, he went off in the right way. Even to the point where he said he didn't even care about money. He didn't care about anything dealing with whether he was going to be monetized. He drew a line in the sand. And this reminded me very much so of when the young Malcolm X, who spoke highly of the Nation of Islam and spoke highly of his leadership. But when he saw that his leadership took a turn immorally, he took a stand, and he put a line in the stand to the point where he was now ostracized from the very group and organization that gave him a platform and a name. He took such a strong stand that even his beloved Muhammad Ali turned his back on then Malcolm X. And you know, there comes a time when a man must take a stand against the immoral acts of other men, regardless of the consequences he may have to face. I have said that I will defend the manosphere, and I have said that I defend their right to speak. And every veteran that's in my chat will understand that when we rose our right hand, we rose it for the Constitution of the United States of America. And when we was willing to fight for that amendment, that freedom of speech, we meant what we said. We understood that we've been to countries where people didn't have the right to speak. So we appreciate that right to speak. But then we have to understand that every time we speak, we must be responsible and accountable for the words we say. That means I can speak against the President of the United States without fear of being arrested. I can speak against my personal views or political views and not have to worry about being arrested. However, we always use the analogy about calling a fire and having people murdered because we lied about a fire inside of a house. There was a reprobated speech given, and I'm just going to say the initials GC. And he committed with a boldness of verbal and criminal acts, allegedly. He said things that was grossly wrong, things that I will not agree with at all. And I would be less than a father and a man and a soldier if I don't take a stand for something. And my stand today is that if the manosphere did not speak up, that I was going to have to separate myself. And I am taking a bold stand and now separating myself from the manosphere because I am a man. If I can get on my internet and put out a video about some women twerking yesterday, if I'm fast enough to get on the internet and talk about some woman doing this and some woman doing that, my silence means that I feel that what this gentleman said was right. And he is dead wrong. Dead wrong. And so this platform is still going to be for the defense of my brothers, to teach them how to rise up as men. But I have an obligation to women that regardless of any issues I may have had, and regardless of anything I may have gone through, you do not have a right to be violated by anybody. It is not a justification at all. I will not see any older man who would dare violate any one of my daughters. Big Bad Bull, we're talking about an issue that came up on TLA's platform, and we're talking about a conversation that El Guapo had just yesterday on, I believe it was yesterday, on his platform. Another issue that I'm also going to address, and I'm going to say that Tough Love gave an awesome conversation. And the conversation was real simple. How long are we going to keep financing different YouTubers that cannot have any solutions? How long are we going to keep blaming everybody and going to other people's YouTubes financing a no solution podcast? And what I mean by that is, are we not culpable when we run behind certain YouTubers that's only spitting visceral issues? Are we not only culpable when we're sitting here giving super chats to women that belittle black men but have no solutions? Are we not only culpable when we run behind men that says every evil thing about women but have no solutions? We are equally to blame. And I will stand and say, I'm to blame. I supported some of these no solution platforms. But today, I'm taking a stand. And I'm taking a stand to support, to push up only platforms that is speaking positive, and platforms that is trying to move the agenda forward. And I'm only speaking up on platforms and only want to network with those men and women that wants to advance the issues. Yes, we have some relationship communication issues. We do. Yes, we got some financial issues. We do. We got all kinds of issues. But guess what? We got the solutions too. And it is time for us, especially older, to stop teaching these young men how to continue to be players, and let's get naked, tell our truth, and help these young men be better men than who we were before. And I am going to devote this platform to bringing a positive message and move the agenda forward. I am not going to allow this to be a vitriol platform. I'm not going to sit up here and have a platform that's only going to push other people's narratives. This is going to be a platform for healing. If my beloved daughter, who did not grow up in the best of homes, can make it out without having 2 and 3 and 4 children, without having to deal with Pookies and Ray Rays, and can get to the point where she can love and support her father today, pardon my expression, damn it, don't y'all tell me you can't do it either. Uncle Stu done made a whole lot of mistakes. I done been to the military and succeeded. But I had my own issues. I had family issues. I medicated those issues. I've been homeless. I've been married. I've been abused. And I've done abuse. But I'm here because I don't want to see none of you men make any of the mistakes I made. I want you to have a better outcome than I had. I want you to live longer than I can live. And I want you to succeed beyond even where you are right now. I'm going to take a page and I want to give honor to Anton Daniels, who has allowed me on his platform several times. And the page that I'm taking is that I may not get up here and teach finance, but I surely will teach you men how to be better men. And what I lack, I will find another man that will hold it down and teach you how to be a good man. I'm still holding my brothers accountable for raising the standard. For the Bible teaches us to raise up the standard for my women. I will be a branch to help you. I will admit that there's a lot of things in the manosphere that some of the arguments is correct. It is right. But let's have the conversation. And let's deal with that conversation and come up with solutions. Let me address just the African American community. I said earlier that I have been on Antoine Daniels' platform, and I don't take it lightly that this man who has a greater platform than I do has allowed me to sit on his platform. And I'll say as a man, I know that I'm not worthy. I haven't put in the work necessary to be able to sit on such a platform. But what I will say, and I say it with all boldness, that I am asking every man and every woman, and even my own daughter, to hold me accountable in the areas of positive motivation, of education. In the words of one of my favorite content creators, I'm going to give you some tough love. That's the name of his platform. But here, Uncle Stu is going to keep it rough, rugged, raw, and real. I'll tell any man, I didn't do everything right, my brothers. I didn't cross every T. I didn't dot every I. I didn't do that. But if I can keep you from making mistakes I made, then maybe you'll get a whole lot farther than I did. If I can keep you from being an absentee father, then I will do every damn thing in my power to keep you from being a less and being the best. I don't blame every woman for every problem I had. I don't. I wanted to, and at times I did. But if I search inside my own self, and as the word of God teaches me, be ye transformed by the renewing of my own mind, I had to take accountability for things I did. I had to take accountability for my own lack of discipline. Maybe if I kept it in my pants, maybe I wouldn't have had a child out of wedlock. Doesn't mean I don't love my child. I'm keeping it 100. Maybe I could have been like Intentional Millionaire and at 40 had a great deal of wealth. Maybe if I would have been a little bit more disciplined in some areas, I could have been more economically established. Do I recognize that there are women who is out of control? I sure do. There are some women that has made some horrible decisions and horrible mistakes, and they need to learn. They need love, and sometimes we got to bring them tough love conversations. I also want you to know that I'm trying to move the needle forward, but I'm trying to move it forward in love, in peace, and in harmony. And not everybody is going to want to rock with me, and I get it. I understand that some people just want me to female bash all day, and I probably can get 1,000 subscribers. I understand that there are going to be some people that probably want me to beat up men all day, and I'll probably get 1,000 subscribers. But I follow Jesus Christ, Son of the living God. And he only had 12 people that he rocked with. He rocked with them for 4 years hard. But those 12 people turned around to turn over 3,000. And that 3,000 turned around and turned over the world. And I believe now it is time that we move towards hearing positive things and learn how to have the tough conversations. Conversations where we can move. So when I brought up Antoine Daniels earlier, the page that I'm going to take from his book is to be able to have those tough conversations to tell people, let's move forward. Let's move forward. I want each and every single one of y'all to know that I wake up every morning praying for each and every single one of you. I want you to hold me accountable for not going on everybody's platforms and dealing with every single conversation. I want to thank you, Big Guy Journey, because it takes a man to recognize another man to push him out. So I will be accountable to you, sir. Tough Love, I will be accountable to you, sir. For my platform, we'll have the tough conversations, but it will be on a positive note. And of course, my daughter is in the chat, but she also has that private number to me. I want my daughter, who has took a long road to get back to me. My daughter said, I knew the old one, but I don't know the new one. So I hope in time I make my daughter a proud child for these next 35 years. This is not very easy for me to stand as a leader, to stand in honor, to stand in my integrity. But I want to move the conversation forward. I want to move it forward. I'm going to let you know this is definitely going to be a spiritual journey, because what got me through was God himself. My daughter would tell you, I used to be a Muslim. So I give all honor and praise to being that Muslim. So I understand it. And now I'm a Christian. So I can speak the Quran, what is recognized as the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad, and I can speak the Bible, the Greek, the Hebrew. But what kept me grounded was the fact that I had a God that was greater than myself. I don't preach. I try to live it, not only on YouTube, but in my personal and private life. So this is basically all I had to say. I know I haven't been hitting a lot of buttons. I am looking at the chat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to give you a chance to come on and talk to Uncle Stu. Talk to me. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know what you're thinking. Because can you hear me, reigning woman? I think you're muted.
Can
Okay.
hear you. Well, first of all, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. How's
I
my fellow veteran doing?
I salute you with the utmost humility and gratitude
Thank you.
for your stand. I was, and to answer your question, I am better now after hearing your stand. I was about to walk out onto my courtyard and sit on my courtyard for a little while before I saw your notification that you were coming on. So I said, oh, well, let me hold off for a minute. Let me hold off for a minute. And I'm so glad that I did, because I would have missed something that I have been listening for myself. And I want you to know that as a woman of God, a woman of faith, and a woman who believes in the advancement of the kingdom of God. You will not and you do not stand or walk alone.
Thank you.
Women like myself, Mr. Used to, and I'll tell you why I call you Mr. Used to soon. Okay? But women like myself have been eagerly awaiting and anticipating voices just like the one you just rang out.
Thank you.
You are very necessary. Your voice is very necessary and very much needed. And you are right. It will not necessarily be an easy walk, but it doesn't have to be easy in order for it to be glorious. And to
Thank you.
stand and to do what you're doing and to stand in this leadership role and to stand in what you're doing, the shift that you are intentionally making is not going to be nearly as hard as you as it is perceived to be from the outside looking in, because there is nothing too hard for God,
Yes, ma'am.
and he's already with you. He just needs someone that's going to yield and be the vessel. And you're saying, I will be the vessel. I will make a way. I will put my hands and my feet to work. Basically, use me. Allow me to be used. It's not easy enough being a man. And I get it. Most of us women get it. But it's not meant to be an easy road for men. It's not. However, it doesn't mean that you should go without having your voice and your concerns listened to and heard, so that you can be encouraged, so that you can be supported to continue to go on and do the things that men must do, so that women can also follow suit. I want you to know that I get that.
Thank you.
I'm going to fall back now because I think I've said more than enough. But
I've always said and I've always meant that I wanted my platform to be a safe place. And, I don't have a problem listening to my young. And, Miss B Finesse had said multiple times that young people are looking for the leadership of older people. And, how can I sit here and been trained by the best of the military,
Mhm,
been disciplined by the Muslims who are advocates of study and advocates of community, and then fall into Christianity and follow the leadership of the Spirit of God, and then talk about how weak he is because I'm weak.
mhm,
And that doesn't make sense to me.
hmm,
The Bible says that nothing new is under the sun, which means
hmm,
the same stuff we see right now was happening 20 years ago.
mhm,
The same stuff right now was happening 30 years ago.
mhm,
So we have access to stuff today we didn't have access to almost 30 years ago. We didn't have the internet. We was happy
mhm.
we had a beeper.
Right.
And, and, And even then, that was a stigma. If you had a beeper, is that, and then like these kids don't understand the term dropping a dime. That came, we had payphones. You ask the person today, what's a payphone? They're gonna look at you like you crazy,
Mhm.
you know. But the reality is, you have young people who are looking for real life knowledge,
Mhm.
and it's a shame when I got 55-year-old men writing books to teach 20-year-olds how to still be a player.
Mhm.
Something is twisted. I was talking to another content creator. He might still be at work. I don't know if he's in the chat. We was having our own, if you want to call it, back talk. Men talk behind the scenes of YouTube. And I said, can I just be honest with you? He said, yeah, Uncle Stu. I said, when I was in this dating world, I never had a woman ask me how many figures I made. All she asked me was, did I have a job, a place to stay, in a car?
Hmm.
And and he laughed. He says, you know what? That's the only thing they ever asked me. And I said, I said, now I come from New York. I said, folk was making six figures back in the 80s. And they definitely doing it like it ain't nothing today. So I'm like, well, where all these six-figure people at? I said, now, I come from a very well-to-do family. My ex-wife came from a very well-to-do family. And I still, at 54 years old, ain't found none of these chicks that everybody talking about on YouTube. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some other women that, yes, yeah, we got some issues. And yes, I'm going to speak up against those issues. And I think you and I on my last live stream, we kind of talked about that thing, but I also have got to show younger men who has been through the grind, made some
Mhm.
mistakes, and can teach step by step how to be a man,
Mhm.
how to build wealth. Now,
Mhm.
every woman is not built for every man, and she gonna have to know her place.
Mhm.
I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, so that I don't have a regular 9 to 5 job. I don't have that.
Mhm.
So to be with me, you gonna have to understand that. You can't be watching Carly B and the rest of them and think that's your lifestyle. It ain't gonna work that way.
Mhm.
So we got to put some balance. I tell anybody, you want to know how to be a woman, go to TJ Randolph. I'm always amazed, and she know, to go from a military minded woman. And we ain't talking average military. We
Mhm.
talking a commanding officer.
Mhm.
She in a
Mhm.
whole different mindset.
Mhm.
And then to see her become like a little girl when her man kiss her and she married, dingling her ring. Yeah, y'all better go learn something.
Yes.
Better go looking for
Yes.
your Boaz. You better go to her platform and listen to your Naomi.
Yes.
If you
Yes.
want to learn. Now, if you still want to run around here with the Pookie and the Ray Rays, if you think that what's in between your legs is all a man need, all right, you go ahead. You're going to be like them 60, 70-year-old woman. These sitting there looking like a booger bear all alone.
Mhm.
But if you
Mhm.
want to be married, you better go find you a Naomi. Stop looking for your Boaz. I'm just saying, don't get me on my soapbox preaching.
Hey, you spoke it. You speaking.
You sit here and you need open conversation. Trust and believe. I get you a 37-year-old woman going to teach you how to be a wife. She a wife.
Mhm. Mhm.
When she speak
Hello.
about her husband, you think she got lights on. Now that's her glowing because she happy. She got a wife. She ain't got the weight on her shoulders. Better learn from the women that got a man. Stop messing with these Pookies and Ray Ray and stop talking about, well, I can't find a man. I got a 26-year-old young man right now. He go to
Hmm.
work. He got his own business. This dude is sitting up here with his own YouTube channel trying to put it in, doing the work. But I can't get him to get 1,000 subscribers. But I bet you if that 26-year-old was out here cussing every woman out, he'd be
Mm-hmm.
blown up right now. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
put the accountability where it lies.
That's
I'll
right.
introduce you to all of the good men, but are you going to support them?
Right.
You know? So that's how it is.
I get it. I completely get it.
You know. I can't keep looking my daughter in the face and sit there talking about this your daddy. Your daddy crucifying women. Ain't I good? Look at me, y'all. I'm blowing up, cussing women out. I'm the man. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. If
Mm-hmm.
that means I don't never get 1,000, then I'll just preach to my 150 and be happy.
Mm-hmm. But that 150 will still have a powerful ripple effect.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we know God works
Yes.
wonders with small numbers.
Yes.
He makes the difference in the power, not the numbers.
That's true. That's
Listen,
true.
I'm gonna let somebody else go ahead and get up, but
Yeah,
but
I told you I listen to my young people. So I'm
hmm
trying to take a page from Miss B Finesse, let everybody have their one-on-one, and then pull up the panel. She said I don't be listening sometimes. I need to let them know some of us men, we do be listening now. We listen, we listen, and I gotta watch it because there's another YouTuber up here. We ain't gonna say no names. She stole my thunder. She be watching me. She be clipping videos showing the most comic views of Uncle Stu. She stole my thunder. I love her. When this live is over, y'all go see her page. She did a really funny clip with me, and I just loved every minute of it. So if Unc slipped, she stole my thunder, got me.
well, I will
But I'd
definitely
rather
check
her
it
clip
out.
me doing something funny than me doing something stupid. So I ain't got nothing but love for her. I even asked, I said, you know what? Since you did that video, I'm gonna put you in charge of doing my new introduction. So she knows
Mm,
that's her job. So when that new introduction come out,
we know who
it,
did it.
we know who did it. We know who did it.
All right, but I'm gonna let She Stole My Thunder come on up. Thank you so much. Peace and God bless.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. I appreciate y'all in the chat. Just hold it down. The Queen, my beloved officer, I salute you, ma'am. I salute your husband. How are you, my beloved veteran C.J. Randolph?
How are you doing tonight?
Heavyweight, heavyweight, believe it or not.
Got me crying a little bit, but I'm emotional. What can I say? You know,
not my officer.
you know. Yeah, I was supposed to be a karate man, bleed on the inside, but but I did cry on the outside, the inside. But I had to go back and listen to your monologue because I had a call from my nephew again. My oldest nephew, who I love dearly, he was my child before I had a child.
Mhm.
And him, he's having some, him and his girlfriend of many years are having some problems. So I'm trying to talk to them both because this thing called love and relationships are hard. But I was telling them some things, that I think that he could have done better and should do better.
Mhm.
And it goes to what you're talking about, far as relationships. For the mistakes that we in, Gen X made, only way we can turn the tide is if we have to start telling the young people, the good, bad, and in between. And
Right.
even though I love my nephew like he's my own son, I got to say, nephew, you should have done this differently. And I
Right.
can say, to his girl, you should do this differently. But we
Right.
didn't teach our young kids about how to show respect to the other person. And so
Right.
if you don't have these examples, you go by what you think you know, and you know nothing.
Right.
You know nothing. And I'm really appreciative of what you said with respect to not supporting these channels that are just want to talk about the problem and no solutions. And here's the thing, there's enough blame to go around, and that's just the bottom line.
True. Very true.
There's enough blame to go around, and it stems as far back as we can't even imagine. But okay, so what do we do now is the question.
Right.
What do we do now? You
Right.
know, um, yeah, I personally don't want to keep talking about it. What we going to do about it? And what we do about it is each one teach one. The ones who want to learn are going to get on these platforms like yours, like mine, like other, B Finesse, Colette, Blind Guy, his wife, their life. They're going to go to these platforms and ask the questions of, how can I be better? They're going to reach out to us individually, like some have, to say, would you mind talking to me and helping, giving me some sage counsel and allowing us to speak into their lives, even telling them some things that might hurt a little bit, but it's for their
Right.
best interests.
Right.
And that might mean that our platforms grow slower. So what? I didn't get in it for the money anyway.
Right. Same here. I mean, financially speaking, uh, when I say to you, I'm 100%. So, I think I'm okay.
A- As am I. I'm 100% too. So,
So,
yeah.
right. So, this is not, this is, this is me doing something. So I'm not sitting at home doing nothing.
And giving back.
Exactly. Exactly. Do I appreciate the cash apps? I sure do. But
Yes.
it's not to show off my latest, what I'm saying? My latest car, my latest material things. I had these material things before I even came to YouTube.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, um, God has blessed me to travel the world 3 times over. I done
Yes.
seen the world,
Yes.
but now that I'm at this age, it's time to give back knowledge, wisdom, understanding.
And I have my avatar up here is because, I usually come on camera, but I have
Yes.
this avatar because this is on our wedding day. And my wedding day at 52 years of age,
Hmm.
after being 18 years single. I know it's not promised for everybody. I know that. But I do know that it's promised for some. But we got to do some work. And I did. And the work continues. Self reflection, self assessment for men and women,
Right.
compromise for men and women.
Right. You know, I every he don't know this, so now I'm going to give a secret. Every morning I wake up. Sometimes I'm waking up at 3. Sometimes I wake up at 4. Not because I have sleeping issues. I'm actually waking up to do what I'm doing, and I always hit before the billions podcast. And what he doesn't recognize is I connect with before the billions on many different levels. His dad did the same work my dad did. So I know what it's like to be the son of the professions of our fathers. You know, I push him because I said, if I was 26 putting in the work he would, I wouldn't be where I am.
Mhm.
You,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have to depend on disability. I'll be depending on something totally different right now. And you know, I say I can't let this man forget my daughters right now. Let me put them to the side. They grown. I can't let this man see me on platforms calling myself a man of God and acting like a man of the fool.
Hmm.
I can't.
Interesting. Yeah.
I can't. You know, or getting up there speaking visceral of women, knowing this young man wants to one day be married. Now I'm gonna take all my poison, put it into him, and then he gonna take that poison and put it into a woman.
Well, it's gonna cloud his view of the woman before he,
Exactly.
just like no different if I were to say, all men are this based on my own experiences or the
Right.
experiences of my loved ones or the experience of my friends. It's gonna already set them up to be skeptical before they even meet anyone.
Right. We're killing people before they even have a chance to die.
Huh, interesting.
You feel me? You
Yeah.
know, Rain Woman said something that was so profound the other day. She said, we was having a conversation, and she said, the reason we can't receive the word submissive is because it is the vessel which is coming out of. I
That
said,
was
you know what?
powerful. That was
Exactly.
powerful.
You know, I said, dang, I can't argue with that one. You understand? It's not the word, it's the vessel that is coming out of.
That was powerful.
Yes. And I sat there, and I'm not gonna lie, I look at you and I look at Miss B Finesse, because right now y'all are my two closest women who both spoke about having a background. You know, Miss B Finesse said she was the little clapback woman. And you know, I'm always talking about you as the military officer. And I'm going, man, I got to interview them two brothers, because they're going to have to teach other men how to do what they was able to do with both of y'all. And that's real talk.
It's funny because I could be pretty clapbacky even now. But when I'm dealing with my husband or he's dealing with me, there is this calmness that he inspires in me
Mm,
that, he just him being himself. So he doesn't have to do anything other than who he is and lead how he leads, and that inspires something in me to be what comes naturally.
right,
And I didn't have it for a long time, but when you know. And
right. You're right.
so when
You're
you know,
right.
you know.
But see, when I'm going to try to put together this lesson, and it is called How to Become Alpha. Because what's really missing in the conversation of a alpha male is really how to take him from beta to alpha. Beta is the hurt male. Alpha is the healed male. When you're walking in your purpose, everything submits to you, just as the word says. And that's the part we're missing. Training up a man in the way they should go. And a lot of the issues that we're talking about will disappear.
Well, here's the thing I would like for people to consider. This whole notion of the alpha and beta, that is definitely a modern concept. Because when I think of the men of that I grew up under or around, it was about either you're a man or you're not. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Either you're a man or you're not. And I'm not talking about you're a male. I'm talking about a man.
Right.
A man is is a provider, works hard, takes care of his family, protects. He doesn't he There are some that do boast, but many don't.
Don't need to.
And they didn't walk around saying, I'm this. No, you just knew. My grandfather, you just knew. My dad, even though he had, his issues, but you knew.
Well, let's keep it 100. Let's really go in. Let's let these young folk know. Let's go in because as far as older generation, I got OG Patrice in the backdrop. Let's really go in. A lot of people love to talk about. Let me just give a quick shout out. Hank from the 404. I can't do it like TLA, but we all know you, bruh. So I appreciate you coming into the chat.
Divine Nine in the house.
You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's right. That's right.
Ooh,
Only
up in
letters I
here.
got is VET. I ain't got them Greek letters. But let's really go in. Let's have that conversation. Because I like what you said. We always hear about, Papa was a Rolling Stone. And I ain't gonna lie, my grandfather was a Rolling Stone. My uncle was my age, so he won't play.
Well, my dad was.
But you know what? If we kept it 100, and I'm not giving a pass. I don't want women to think I'm giving a pass. But even them men who did that,
Yep.
they were so strong in their alphaness. And I'm only using that word right now because of how it's being technically thrown around today.
This newfangled stuff.
Yeah. But they were so strong in their manhood that even if they had an outside child, that child was still taken care of.
Yeah, and it doesn't make it right, but it make it what it was.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm saying, wait a minute now. Why are we echoing like what we see today is brand new?
It's not.
It's not new. We had the same women, the same women of the 1950s were still doing the same thing today. We just didn't have the internet and television that exploded it all.
You better speak on it.
People ask me, well, in the 19, I said, let me tell you, don't you watch Cadillac Records? Wasn't that telling you the same thing? Where you think the blues came from?
Speak on it.
The women was doing the same exact thing. So this is not new. We had teenage pregnancy back then. You still got it now.
Single motherhood, you got it now. Like you said, the only thing that's different is it's not just that, it's out there, but it's glamorized.
Exactly.
That's the difference because it happened, but it was not something people glamorized.
And the only time that we stop, okay, let's go in so young folk can go and do their Google searches. You ready?
Correct. Let's get it to them.
Let's give it to them. The only time all the people, me, you, OG Patrice, random woman 21, she be faking the funk on me. Only time we stop having sex is when that thing called AIDS showed up. That's the only thing that slowed us up.
And that was only for a minute.
And that was only for a minute when we found out condoms work.
You know what I'm saying? Only for a minute.
Right. Only for a minute. Only for a minute. You see what I'm saying? Now we got to be honest in every single area. I've heard some women say, well, our parents didn't teach us. I said, let me help you with something. Ain't no parent in America gonna have a book to help you to raise you. I said, well, what parent gonna be ready for you to be living in a pandemic when we didn't go through a pandemic?
Right.
We did the best we could with what we knew.
Right.
The problem was we didn't follow the book all the way. It said, let the elders teach the young. The problem is, and Ms. B. Finesse said this, but I always say this. The problem is some of the old folk act like they ain't never committed sin. Since we
Yeah,
gonna
that's
use
true.
that word,
Yeah, yeah,
they act
yeah.
like they was just all holy all their life. And I'm sitting up here saying, hold up now, that ain't true. The same type of chicks that was in my high school chasing the basketball player, the football player. Let me get quiet, because see, when it's coming from a man,
I
most
got to
people
come on
don't.
camera now. Now I got to come on camera. I want you to see my facial expressions. Now I got to come on camera,
see, see,
so you can see my facial expression because you so right about it. Okay.
right
Now I got to come on.
now you got to come on.
Yeah, I
See,
got to come on.
gonna have your man looking for me now.
You
See,
got to, but see, and here's the thing, and the Bible even says there's nothing new under the sun. There
right,
isn't,
right,
you know. So we've had these battles. We've had these battles for a long time. We had the wayward women for a long
mm-hmm,
time. We've had the dog men for a long time. My
mm-hmm,
dad was one of them. Just be honest,
right. Let's keep it
because me
real.
because me and my younger brother are 6 months apart. Hello.
Yeah, right. Something wrong with that picture, right? The math don't add up.
You see, so this is not a new thing.
Right,
What is new is that it is out for everybody to see.
right.
So again, it becomes, what are you prepared to do? Are you going to wallow in your misery? Are you going to decide, like my daughter did? Because, like you said, my daughter didn't see me as a wife, but she
Mm-mm.
said she wanted to be one. So, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
She went out to do what she needed to do to get the information so she could be that.
Yeah,
I didn't see my mom be one. I knew I wanted to be one. I thought I was one, but I wasn't. So I had to do some self-reflection. I had to go get some therapy. I had to do some praying, some crying, some journaling
that's right.
to prepare me so when I did meet him, I'd be ready.
Right,
Thank you, Lord.
right.
I could not continue to blame all my dorked up relationships on just them. I had to say, okay, look at here, Terry, why you keep picking these folks? Or why you keep allowing them to pick you?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be clear.
Right,
I had to learn how to shut my mouth because everybody don't want to know what I think.
right,
And
right,
it's not okay. And no one cares that you're no one likes a know-it-all.
right. Oh, can I really blow it up for a minute? Cause see,
Boom, go
I hear
ahead.
this too. So let me give it to you. I might have to bring the whole panel up. You ready? Hey, where the white man at? Ain't it the white man fault? Okay.
No, not completely, no.
They say he
We,
is his fault.
we know what we know. We
Right,
know that things were not created for us.
right,
We have benefited from some things that weren't
right,
created for us,
right,
and we've lost some things.
right.
But what are you prepared to do? Because I'm gonna go ahead and grow you to this before I let you go, so somebody else can come. Let me go ahead and grow you young people to something. My mother had me at 17. She met my stepfather when I was 6 weeks old. From coming from my 6 week checkup, got married, had my sister by 19. They
Mm,
were separated by 20. My mom did whatever she could to take care of her daughters in the 70s and in the 70s in Los Angeles, California.
mm-hmm,
Moved to Oklahoma, we cleaned buildings. I helped my mother clean buildings. But before we moved to Oklahoma, we were homeless for 6 months before we got there.
mm-hmm.
When I've told this to some of the people, some of my soldiers, some of the people that work for me, they say, LT, I would have known that. Exactly. It was my reason for the things I did, but it wasn't my excuse.
Right, right.
It took me 4 times in a 10-year period to get my commission as an officer. You hear me?
Mm.
4
And
tries over 10 years.
let me
I was
let me say this
determined.
to the chat. What y'all don't understand is that the military don't give you a lifetime to make rank. That's the part y'all don't understand. You got a certain amount of time to make rank. And if you don't make rank, guess what they tell you? Here's your walking papers.
I tried to become an officer 4 times over a 10-year period.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
and all the other 3 times prior, I didn't have a kid. But the
Mm.
time I got it, when I was commissioned, my daughter was 2. No, she was 3. I was a single mother working 2 jobs in graduate school and in ROTC. So,
Wow.
yes, there are some things in place that systemic racism, institutional racism, it's there. We know this.
Right.
But you do what you got to do first.
That's what I've been trying to champion. That's what I'm going to start championing. You know, we know what the problem is.
Yeah.
We can sit here and go all the way back to the beginning of slavery and
Yes.
and dissect all the history. What are we gonna do now?
Yeah. So you do your part.
Right.
It's easy to sit back, you do your part, and after you've done all, then you might have a complaint. Maybe.
There you go. Right.
Maybe. But you do your part first,
Yeah.
professionally and personally.
Right.
Because certain things might not be happening because you ain't ready for them.
Well, you really trying to stomp all over this chat, aren't you? That's not a conversation they want to hear. That they let me get sexist. Let me get sexist for a minute. That's the thing that I need to tell some women. I don't know how to tell it to them without them being hurt. That you ain't ready. You ain't ready for the men you think you really want. How many men? See, you and I have been in the military. Hang from the 404. I wish you would come up. They ain't ready to be no military woman. To a soldier, a Marine, they ain't ready for that kind of life.
Well, send it to me and here's the thing. My daughter, who's 27, said, "Ma, my friends said they want to be married." No, they don't.
No.
My daughter's 27. She said, "Ma, they ain't ready to do it because you have to die to yourself to be married to somebody else."
Right.
But see, and I said I wanted it. Crying. Years wanted it. I wasn't ready for it, but thought I was.
Let me ask you something, TJ, and then I'm gonna bring some of the other people because there's a lot of people starting to come to the back. Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
Does a woman know the difference between a wedding and a marriage?
No. No. I said this on Shannon's show last night or somebody else's show. I was married before to my daughter's father, but I wasn't a wife until now.
Guess what? You got a podcast. We got to set that up. I think that's a conversation
Mm-hmm.
that really needs to be had. Do you understand the difference between being married and being a wife and what that sacrifice really means?
Yeah.
Because I tell women today, I said, let me tell you something. Let me tell you why I'm proud of black men today. When I was growing up, we can count black male millionaires on one hand. Today, take about a couple of hands to count these brothers.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, black men sold drugs, went straight to jail. Today, my black brothers is going straight from high school to college. So that narrative is twisted. Today, maybe young black brothers, I see Chicago as the outlier. Today, I see young black men, when they see me, "Hey, sir, how you doing, sir?" I go, "Man, he got home training." But guess what? When I see young black women, I'm getting cussed out. I'm being totally disrespected. See, and I say to women, I say, you don't have to like Kevin Samuels. I get it. My own daughter don't like Kevin Samuels. But I know one thing. I know for a fact, I stake my life on it. My daughter ain't gonna call his platform and cuss him out and threaten him and then call him Kevin like they been buddies all their life.
No.
And that's the part that I get women to see when I say, you don't have to like what he say. Got it. But explain to me where this gross disrespect come from. You can go up there and you can debate his points, and that's fine. But I have never seen where a woman could just 20 years old, you gonna tell this 52-year-old man, you gonna cuss him out, threaten his life, and see what everybody don't know? TJ, you went to school with this. You know how tall he is.
I do. I do. I do. Yeah, I do.
People don't know that.
I got some
You
pictures
don't
from
know
Kevin
from no
back in the
YouTube.
day. Yeah, I
Right.
got some pictures.
Yeah, right. You don't have no YouTube and say, oh, I know Kevin because me and him was on the same platform. You knew him when.
Yeah. When he
You
pledged
knew how
Kappa.
he talked back then,
When he pledged
and you know
Kappa,
how he
yes.
talk now. And I'm sitting
Yes.
up here saying, okay, so you want me to believe you going up against somebody that stands over 6'5", and because he told you that you and your 4 kids can't have a millionaire, you mad. But you calling him. That's the part that I don't get. You calling him. He ain't calling you. He ain't come down to your projects. He didn't come down to your middle class neighborhood. He didn't go out there with a camera and shove it in your face. You calling him.
And then you don't like the answer. Then what you call me for?
Right.
What you call me for?
Right. But then you know it's crazy to me.
Well,
It's crazy to me. And I'll say to anybody, yes, I'm making a turn away from the manosphere. But I also give them the credit that's credit is due. Because
absolutely.
what did Kevin Samuels say? All I'm here to do is get the conversation started.
Yeah.
So if anybody, I think kudos because he did it.
And here's the thing, I have said on several of my videos, there's some things I don't agree with Kevin on.
Right.
And sometimes it really bothers me. but I give credit where credit is due.
Right.
I do. I give credit where credit is due. There are some things that he said when we were in college and shortly thereafter that I epitomized what not to be.
Right.
I can
Right.
admit that.
Right.
I was ignorant, but I give credit where credit because there's, I learned even in the military, and for my veterans, you can understand it. I learned you can be a good leader. You can learn from both good and bad leaders.
Right.
There's something to be taken from either one.
Right.
And you decide what you're going to do with it. But
right.
with that stated, I'm going to let you go so other people can come up here. I appreciate what you're doing, and talk at you later.
All right. Appreciate you. All right.
This is Uncle Stu, the old man on the block. Like, comment, share, and definitely subscribe. Emancipate your mind. Peace.